I live again.
Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Top Picks. And today's topic will be a vast landscape of classic arena shooters, boomer shooters, in general, first-person shooter mayhem. And obviously, it couldn't be different. The first one on the list is Quake series, but I'll dive deeper into each installment of the Quake series. So, first of all, Quake 1. And this is where the brown and gritty aesthetic began. I remember the first time I realized I could jump further by angling my view. It felt like breaking the game, but it was just the birth of strafe jumping. It's pure gothic adrenaline. This game was so dark, atmospheric, fast and brutal that it permanently engraved some kind of aesthetic in my brain that I enjoy to this day. Oh, and the soundtrack. Back then, I wasn't aware of Nine Inch Nails, like nothing to really be proud of, but I was playing Quake 1 when I was around 6 years old?
Right to jail.
I digress. I wasn't aware of Nine Inch Nails' input to this game that later became my favorite band of all time. And coming back to this game, seeing Nine Inch Nails logo on the ammo boxes for a nail gun, this is creme de la creme of collaboration between musician and game developer back in early 90s. So great fun fact, love the Quake 1, man. Quake 2, on the other hand, the industrial shift. Instead of demons, zombies, God knows what, we got the Strog. The super shotgun was arguably the most satisfying click boom in history. And the soundtrack of Quake 2 was done by Sonic Mayhem, and I think it paved the way for Mick Gordon in the future for a bit. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. The sci-fi setting was fast-paced, arena-based, lot of violence. It was great, but personally, I loved the dark gothic weird vibe of the first installment. But still, Quake 2 was great, and still a great shooter to this day. And the third one. No story, just vibes and violence. This was the hot seat equivalent of the internet age, I guess. I still have muscle memory for the longest yard railgun shots. It has the cleanest movement ever put into a code. Great. Sometimes in the dark I still hear the sound that Klesk made when he was being shot with the rocket launcher. Core memory, man. Many memories with the friends, because I think it was one of the truest multiplayer experiences from my childhood. Great game. And Quake 4, that by some it's considered the black sheep, but actually a hidden gem. The strogification scene was absolute nightmare fuel, but in general, this is a weird one from the series from my perspective. It was made by Raven Software instead of purely ID, and it did show it was a very different experience. The sci-fi setting was back, and the narrative was modernized, but it still did surprise me. They decided to release this only a year after Doom 3 on the same engine. I do recall it had a lot of technical issues back in the day that it made it too difficult to play for some, including me. Still, solid single-player first-person shooter, but not my favorite Quake game. But still a good game. Now moving on to non-ID software based, but still there's a lot of DNA that was passed along since the inception of the Quake and Doom series. I'm talking about Dusk. Well, if Quake and Blood had a baby in a haunted cornfield, it would be the Dusk. It's the game that proved the boomer shooter wasn't just a phase, and I think this is the first game that truly introduced me to the term boomer shooter. But oh boy, how suiting this term is. The similar emotions were awakened to this that I felt while playing Quake 1, and thus combined a lot of motifs from Blood, Quake and Quake 2. We had dark, gritty environments, we had some sci-fi, cyborg whatevers, cultists, swords, double-wielded shotguns. There's a lot to this game. Of course, I must mention music, and this game has 43 full-length tracks. Not just like action loops or small bits, no, 43 full-length tracks. How cool is that? Also, there are some really cool mechanics regarding some weapons. I really loved using crossbow, and I highly recommend this one. It's a wild ride, and I do recommend cranking the difficulty to hard. I felt normal was a bit too easy. If you had some previous experience with, well, boomer shooters. Next one on the list is Hrot. Imagine being trapped in 1980s Soviet era rainy Tuesday, but you have a shotgun and a lot of mutants around. This is what Quake would look like if it was made in Czechoslovakia, basically. Really, I shit you not. It's a great game. It's brown, gritty, fast, demanding. There's a lot of secrets and really weird enemies. The level design is on point for a boomer shooter aesthetic, and only in Hrot you can fight a giant boss and then find a secret room and eat some knedel for health. Great game, and if you like boomer shooters that are a bit more dark and gritty, you are in for a treat. Highly recommend this one. Painkiller. People Can Fly, Polish developer, entered the game with its own twist on arena shooters. Solid bloody mayhem with different arenas, with different enemies on each one, with bosses at the end of each. I recall super long loading screens, but it was well worth the wait. Of course, this is solvable nowadays. You just need to find your solution and it's there. Of course, hard work blasting, it's like a staple for the genre. I like the variety in environments, and of course, I loved the stake gun. I live again. Blood is the edgy cousin of the group.
Fresh victims for the ever-growing army of the undead.
It's notoriously difficult, but using a voodoo doll or a flare gun to watch a cultist run around screaming is a core memory for many of us. It has a goofy but grime vibe that's hard to replicate. It recently got a remaster made possible because of the Night Dive acquisition to the rights of the original, and I think it's often overlooked member of the OG arena shooters. Give a try to the original and to the remaster. Next one is Serious Sam. And sometimes you don't want the tactical death, you just want 500 screaming headless kamikazes running at you across the desert and blast them with minigun. And that's basically the Serious Sam for you. It's the ultimate backpedal and pray simulator. It's very different approach, it's not dark, it's not gritty, it's plain stupid massacre through colorful environments while Sam makes snarky comments. Kinda wish Duke Nukem Forever took this direction years ago instead of being Duke Nukem Forever. And now it's the final boss, the Doom series. The classics, the absolute OGs. While I definitely am and was more of a Quake guy, I can appreciate the slaughter of demons on Mars, and I've been there multiple times. Still, the first time I heard the scream of Cyberdemon, It fueled my nightmares for many nights to come. The sole idea of demons on Mars and Gateway to Hell on different planets is insanely fun, and this one concept totally became the foundation and driving force for all the sequels. Like Doom 3, it was the horror experiment, I would say. It's slower and darker, and yeah, you can say I put it on the arena shooters, but it's not exactly an arena shooter, but whatever. It's still a Doom. And it's a reminder that even the fastest series can take a breath to scare the hell out of you before the big fucking gun comes out. But while I didn't really enjoy this approach on Quake 4, I think it worked brilliantly in Doom 3. To this day I remember waiting for the Hell Knight encounter that I saw in the trailer, scary motherfucker. And now, Doom 2016. Rip and Tear continues with Mick Gordon's album with a free game added to it. Nah, jokes aside, it was brilliant. The fast-paced traversal and punching through demons' guts with your bare hands because you were out of ammo or health was stupid fun. Great soft reboot of the series that reignited Doom love throughout the community and prompted ID to prepare more of this new silent Doom guy. Doom Eternal. Well, it may or may not be on GOG, but it's still an unhinged evolution of 2016 game. It got faster, wilder, and Doom guy got angrier and more violent than ever. The soundtrack is still killing it. The gameplay is a pure dance with the devil, like literally. If you want to be efficient and fast with the killings of the demons, the best you can do is to approach this like dance choreography. Madness. Pure adrenaline-fueled madness. The pace of this mayhem sometimes made me pause game after some arenas just to catch breath. Okay, and regarding Eternal on GOG, it's here! Now up for grabs. DRM-free with fully operational multiplayer. Yep, that's right, multiplayer. Grab your friends, family, local priest, whomever you would like to share the experience of Doom Eternal multiplayer slaughter with ripping and tearing together. Hope you enjoyed this boomer shooter high-paced and undisputedly violent topics. I'll see you in the next one and enjoy Doom Eternal, now DRM free on GOG. See ya!